Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. So inshallah today I want to explain to you how to read the sanad. So it's obvious, nothing too complicated, but just to make sure that you few bits and bobs here. So this is a screenshot or a picture of Tirmidhi. So how does it start off here? This is the first hadith. How does it start off? Haddathana. What's haddathana mean?
Someone narrated to us.
Yeah, but to you.
No.
So if you say haddathana, it's a lie, isn't it? Really? He didn't narrate to you, did he? So what is haddathana? What is haddathana? Is used basically is Imam Tirmidhi said haddathana. Correct. So this, if you say haddath, if you start reading haddathana, that's kadhib. You don't intend kadhib, but you get it doesn't make sense. So before you start reading any of the books, what you need to do is what you say. You read the sanad. So you don't read the whole sanad. You could read the whole sanad, but you don't normally do that. What did you say? You just say here, bis sanadil muttasili. So basically, bis sanadil muttasil, I am reading with the connected chain. Now some people say minna, some say minkum. Minna would mean from us, meaning we're joining part of the chain, or minkum meaning from your teacher to the Prophet sallallahu, to Imam Tirmidhi, and then from Imam Tirmidhi to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You understand? So you will see this first. So you say bis sanadil muttasili minna or minkum. Different asatidah shuyukh have different preferences.
Prior to reading the hadith itself.
Yeah, because you're saying haddathana with this chain. You understand? So you have to say bis sanadil muttasili minna or bis sanadil muttasili minkum.
So you'd say that first.
Yeah, because it's not finished yet. Yes. So because haddathana itself doesn't make sense because then he never told me. You never met Imam Tirmidhi, did you? Right? And then you can obviously add in like ilal himam. You can like add in whatever respectful terms you want. For example, in Bukhari, you say ila amil mu'minina fil hadith. You can add in huma out of respect, out of reverence for the ulama. People add in different words, different siyah. Understood? You got it? Okay. Then obviously this is Tirmidhi. So Imam Tirmidhi say al-imam al-humam. Humam is basically an additional word. You can add as many you want, less as you want, but respectful for adab and azama of the great scholars. Abi Isa, Muhammad ibn Isa, Tirmidhi rahimahullah. Right? And then obviously if you want to add in dua, matta'ana Allah bihi wa bi'ilmihi, you can add in things like this. But the main thing is basically bis-sanadil muttasil minna ila al-imam at-Tirmidhi rahimahullah. And you say qala. Imam, so with that whole chain, so basically means that whole chain, that from your teacher, all the way to Shah Waliullah, from Shah Waliullah all the way to Imam at-Tirmidhi, he said in that chain. So the Imam Tirmidhi said with that chain, haddathana. You understand? So bis-sanadil muttasili minna or minkum ila al-imam at-Tirmidhi rahimahullah qala. Imam Tirmidhi said qala. You understand? You understand how it works? So for example, in Bukhari, you would have, for example, in Bukhari you would say, normally say, ila amir al-mu'minina fil hadith. Ila amir al-mu'minina fil hadith. Ila amir al-mu'minina fil hadith. Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari rahimahullah ta'ala. Ma ta'ana Allah bihi wa bi'ilmihi. Then, qala. Imam Tirmidhi said with that chain. Imam Bukhari said with that chain. Imam Muslim said with that chain. Imam Tirmidhi said, haddathana. Understood? Okay. Then after that we have haddathana Qutaybah ibn Sa'id. So this is Imam Tirmidhi Ustaz. Then after that you come across here and you have akhbarana again. So if you think about it now, so Qutaybah ibn Sa'id is Imam. So Imam Tirmidhi said what? So Imam Tirmidhi said, the quote starts. So Imam Tirmidhi said, haddathana Qutaybah ibn Sa'id. Okay. Now, when it comes to now between one rawi and another rawi, when you say, so there's difference of opinion here. Some say then, so Imam Tirmidhi said, haddathana Qutaybah ibn Sa'id, and then Qutaybah ibn Sa'id said, akhbarana Abu Awana. You're following? So some people say, when you have this like akhbarana, so you'll have haddathana. If in between the sanad, the haddathana akhbarana, what do you have to say again before that? Qala. So Qutaybah said akhbarana. That's how I learned from my teachers. That's how my teacher, how he used to say it. He's very particular about this. But Shaykh Abdul Fattah Abu Ghudda rahimahullah, he said he has a booklet called Thalathul Rasail. In there he said that it's not necessary. Meaning if you don't do it, it still counts, but obviously it's better. Most ulama of the opinion, I mean, again, it's not like there's not dalil shar'i for it from like Quran, Hadith, Sunnah. It's a method, it's the way of the ulama. So Some have gone very strict in it. If you don't say qala, like the transmission doesn't take place. But Shaykh Abdul Fattah Al-Ghazali started saying you don't have to read it. You can read it, it's better to read it. But if you don't read it, it's not a big issue. So either way is fine, whichever way your shaykh or your teacher prefers.
The chain,
Yeah, not with an, but wherever there's a haddathana, akhbarana, or sami'tu, or one of those, you will say qala again. You say, so you say, وَبِالسَّنِ الْمُتَّصِلِ مِنَّا أَوْ مِنْكُمْ إِلَى الْإِمَامِ الْهُمَامِ إمام الترمذي رحمه الله تعالى قال حدثنا قتيبة بن سعيد قال أخبرنا أبو أوانة. Understood? Yes? Okay. So far so good. Any questions? So the question is why not added it in is because it's just too much. It just saves space. So even for example, I'm not sure. Sometimes even because space is a big issue, isn't it? You're writing lots of like shorthand notes, like university notes, like you're writing so much. So they're taking so much. Now it's very easy to copy and paste. You got computers, everything is easy. So even for example, sometimes right instead of haddathana, you do it later on. You have like this. Forget this part. Just to make shorthand notes. Do you understand? They would do that to make it short. So they would do, sometimes this would mean akhbarana. So akhbara, just forget that part. This is right, akhbarana. Forget the haddatha and just put that haddathana. You would know shorthand notes. So because in those times, this time, notes, speed of writing, paper, resources.
I've got a question. So is this also...
It's not leaving a word out, it's shorthand. So it's like, so when you say qala, you just basically like the word qala, the haddathna, these are just ways you're expressing it. So is this shorthand way of writing? It's saving you time, saving you space. So even logically, Imam Tirmidhi said haddathna Qutayb ibn Sa'id, and Qutayb ibn Sa'id said akhbarna Abu Awana. So then you would say that qala. So I guess it's not like a big issue, it's not a deal breaker. Some ulama are very specific about it. So then you just go with that. That's what your shaykh wants to go with it. No problem. It's not a big issue. And if we're leading of it, don't do it. No problem. So it's just this is how some people say. You have to say, well, you don't have to, but if those who are particularly follow their structure. I say, قال أخبرنا أبو عوانة. Okay. So far so good. Then after that we have here. So we have here أخبرنا أبو عوانة عن سماك ibn Harb. Then we have here again. I think shorthand. You have this. I think you have a ha. Right? You have a ha. That's what tajweed class in between of the hadith class. Make sure the ha makhraj, don't forget makhraj. Ha is basically a tahweel. Ha means tahweel. So this is called tahweel. Basically, obviously again, we have like space and charts and everything. So basically, what happened in this hadith, this is the hadith, right? This is the word of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Imam Tirmidhi got it from two chains. So both chains are the same up to Simak ibn Harb.
That's what ha stands for.
I'll explain it, yeah? So it's a mutaba'ah, right? So instead of mentioning it twice, حدثنا قتيبة بن سعيد قال أخبرنا أبو أوانة عن سماك بن حرب عن مسعود بن سعيد عن ابن عمر رضي الله تعالى عنه إلى آخره. And he bring another hadith وحدثنا حناد قال حدثنا وكيع إسرائيل عن سماك بن حرب. Instead of bringing it twice, he says, but they both add up here anyways. At Simak, it branches off from Simak. So it's called tahweel. The sanad changes, branches off. So when you say this ha comes in between, it means here it goes a branching off basically. So basically means that Simak ibn Harb, from Simak, the one before the ha, it branches off from him to two ravis. If you do it in a chart, it'd be Simak, all the way upwards. And from Simak is where it splits, Imam Tirmidhi splits from Abu Awana and Israel. You understand? So that ha means there's a tahweel, change of sanad. And when you're reading that word, there's two ways you can read it. Some ulama read it as ha. You just say ha. Ha means tahweel. Or you can say tahweel as well. We used to say ha with our asatidah. Understood? Yes? Following? What's when the ha and the tajweed, another tajweed rule. If you have here, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٍ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدْ كَذَّبَتْ قَوْمُ كَذَّبَتْ قَوْمُ لُوطِ nil. What do you have to do? When you have a tanween followed by a what after it? A hazr wasl after it. What do you have to do? Give the tanween a noon. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. The tanween becomes a kasra. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ. Yes? كَذَّبَتْ قَوْمُ لُوطٍ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. So So we're supposed to read it. Simak is munsarif. So an simakini bini harbin. And then we have here an musabini bini. Oh boy, it's going to be difficult. They said, so takhfifan. What did they do? If you have a ghayr munsarif word, sorry, if you have a munsarif word, a tanween, you can just, before ibn, drop the tanween. Let's read it as a ghayr munsarif. With one sarf, one dhamma, or one haraka. So simak is munsarif, but you don't say simaki ni, it is, you know, you say simaki ibn harbin. You don't have to read the tanween and do that noon mukhaffafa. Simaki ni harbin. It's too hard. So when it asanid, the ulama have dropped the tanween. Okay? So originally it should be Qul huwa Allahu ahadun illahu ala qiyasi. It should have been Simaki nibni harbin. Musabi nibni sa'adin. But the ulama, when you have tanweens, you can drop that in the sanad. Good? So far so good? Following? Any questions so far? So the last part is just basically recap of a nahwa rule. And it shouldn't be a problem because already nowadays you guys got lucky. You got the whole Maktabatul Bushra. They've done a really good job. Allah gives them reward for the whole, whoever's doing it. It makes it very easy for us to read. Before us, the ulama was very difficult. Ulama before us never had books. We had books, but it was very hard to read. Like it was Urdu script, no harakat. Have you seen them? Your dad may have some. Yes, you could see your brother may have some as well. The one that your brothers use. It was like, just very. So now the of harakat. So it shouldn't be an issue. But in our time we never had harakat. But I'll still explain to you just to make sure. So for example, here if you have a sanad from Bukhari. So when you have the first ibn. Okay, so for example, you go over here. Okay, when you have for example, a laqab, like Ansari, that's usually the laqab not of this, but of the first one. So you don't think, oh, Sa'id al-Ansari, because you think you're kasra in your mind. So you think Ansari is always the first, it's not the laqab of the father, the laqab of the first person. Because you got harakat, it should be easier for you. In our times, we have to focus on this. Even here. So, Akhbarna Muhammad ibn Ibrahim at-Taymi. You is a sif, then this is Taymi is a na'at of the Muhammad, not the na'at of the Ibrahim. It's written, all the harakat written in our books nowadays, so it's very easy. But previously, sometimes we make mistakes. So this Taymi is a na'at of the Muhammad, not of the Ibrahim. Even here, Sami'a, he heard Al-Qamah ibn Waqqas al-Laythiyya, because Laythi is a na'at of Al-Qamah. Even Waqqas was a Laythi, his father probably Laythi as well. But it's actually the na'at of the Al-Qamah. You following? So when you see those Laythi, Ansari, Al-Makki, etc., it's always a na'at of not the one after the ibn, the one before the ibn. Yes? It's not how, but it's just refresh it, just keep it in mind, because it's going to sound quite a lot. Keep it in mind. Yes? And this is another sign from Bukhari. When you have like a name with what many, Ubaydullah, Abdullah, Utbah, Ibn Mas'ud, what will happen? The first one is going to be, it's have its Arab upon this. Right? So the first one is Arab al-Asala, meaning either أخبرنا يا سمعت بأيضا مرفوع منصوب حدثنا عبيد الله سمعت عبد الله. Then this will follow. What will happen? This ibn will follow that one. And all the rest will be what? Majroor, because they now what? The badal of this one. The one before it. So the first ibn is always a badal of the first name. So for example, Hashim ibn Ismaila, then it'll be Ibni Hashim ibn Hashimin. Are you following? So the first ibn is always a badal, and the other ibn is always a majroor. Remember that rule.
The final one wouldn't have a fatha on top because of...
Utbah is majroor, but it's ghayr munsarif. Are you following? So again, you got the harakat in your book, so it's much easier, but just when you didn't have the harakat, or if you don't see a harakat, just keep that in mind. The first ibn is always a badal, and the other ibn is always majroor. Okay? Yeah, that's it basically. Yeah, for today. Any questions? Again, so some of the basic, the last part is a bit basic stuff, but the first part. So remember what you do when you're reading. Before you read, obviously, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You read, and then what do you have? You read Bisan al-Muttasil. Because if you say Haddathana, it doesn't make any sense. Because he didn't narrate. Imam Tirmidhi didn't narrate to you. Imam Bukhari didn't narrate to you. You say Bisan al-Muttasili. I'm reading with this connected chain from you or from us to Imam al-Bukhari, and then I'll explain the change. Difference is three parts of the chain. One from us to Shah Waliullah, and from Shah Waliullah to the books of the authors, and from the authors to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, and then you say Bismil Muttasil minkum ila Imam Bukhari rahimahullah or Imam Tirmidhi rahimahullah, Imam Muslim rahimahullah. Qal, they said, Haddathana Qutaybah ibn Sa'id, And then the next is قال أخبرنا. So the قال is better to add that قال. But again, it's فيه مجال. It's not necessary. But you better to read it. But if you miss it, it's not really a big issue. Following? And then a few other harakat things issue. And then the tanween can be dropped off for takhfif. And then the nahwu rules, just recap this so that because it comes quite often in here. Yes, any other questions? Okay. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك.